is there a particular issue that somebody would like to bring to the group to talk about that could be something maybe as a group we could work through together, whether it's a particular issue right now or a thought that you've had repeatedly or that you've heard recently that you'd like to maybe see how to overcome that, or maybe something even just career wise that you're thinking of doing differently that we could kind of brainstorm. Is there anything that we could kind of bring to the group? Anybody at all?
I'll say something if that's okay. I
Mm-hmm.
am I work where I work currently. I've been working from home for a couple of years after the pandemic.
Yeah.
But my company was recently bought by another company that was publicly traded or is publicly
Mm-hmm.
traded.
Yeah.
And they're laying a bunch of us off at the end of June, including me.
Okay.
I've been there for 7.5 years and I'm 68. So I was hoping not to have to do another job search before I retired, even though I'm not planning on retiring for about 7 or 8 years. I'm planning on continuing to work.
Uh-huh.
But what I'm feeling right now is basically the fear of having my need to get a job that will be somewhat level at the same level of the job that I have right now. I'm feeling like my need for something is going to overwhelm my ability to talk about what I can do for a company when I'm job hunting.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, and I know that there are quite a few people being laid off, but I
Mhm.
think that um, it it's my impression that the older workers are being laid off more than the younger workers, just as a sort of confidential thing that seems to be what's happening.
Mhm.
So that's also an issue. So that's the issue I would just like to throw out there,
Sure.
if that is true of anybody else.
Okay. Thank you very much for putting that out there, Alicia. I really appreciate it.
Sure, no problem.
I will say we're having a lot of layoffs in the Pacific Northwest. Um, this is a home of a lot of tech companies. My daughter herself, who's 33, was laid off last year, and she's in the financial tech industry, and many people of many ages are getting laid off. And I do think some trends are different depending on the region as well. Um, but definitely you're right in that there are a lot of layoffs. And I can sense a little bit when you're talking, sense a little bit of the fear that's there. Yeah, the voice gets just a little shaky. Yeah, I could understand that, and I can see that. Um, it's funny how I said I can see that because I can hear it, which is interesting because I'm a more of an auditory processor. That's one of the things I've learned about myself as well. Um, one of the things that I was thinking about when you were talking is, in order to not, because for me, what I would want to do if it were me is I would want to minimize um, the anxiety. I would know that the anxiety is going to be there because it just is, it's part of change. But I think that what I would want to do is to do some planning and working on, you know, getting interviews and getting a job more sooner than later. Because if you do the work now and not wait till the last like month, then that need for a job won't necessarily be as it won't be overridden by the fact that there's something that you want to choose to do. I'm not articulating that very well, but I know what I'm thinking. um, I think that if I waited, if you're going to get laid off in June, your concern is that your need for something, just having something, will override your job search for something that's really meaningful. Because maybe like you'll get desperate and say, oh God, I better just take it. Okay, so instead I would start looking now. I would first of all get really clear about what it is that you would like to do next. Would you like to do the same thing? that you're doing now? And, or if not, what would be, I guess one of the ways that I'm doing some career coaching now, I was telling Milry about before the call, I'm doing some career coaching now with people, and we work with them for 2 hours, and it's really helping them get clear about what is their value, what is it they offered a potential employer, what is their purpose, so like their purpose in doing the work that they do, and what is their why do they do this, why is it important to them. And then by finding out those 3 things, we can help them get clearer about what kind of company do you want to work at? What kind of values does this company have? You know, what kind of policies and practices do they have, so that you're clearer about not only the job you want to do, but the organization that you want to work for. Because that really can make a difference. I mean, I interviewed somebody a couple of weeks ago, and they had used a term I hadn't used before. And I think he said he was industry agnostic. And I thought, okay, so I'd never heard that before. And secondly, I would think that you'd want to have some idea of the kind of company you'd want to work for. But you know what? Early in my career, I didn't really mind the type of company because I just wanted experience. And I wanted experience in a lot of different areas. But once I got to, like, say 45 or more, like right now I'm 65, I could tell you, you know, fingers on one hand, what companies I would work for, what kind of companies, and which ones I wouldn't. So I guess it does depend on, you know, the stage in your career that you're at. But I think it's beneficial to put some thought into the type of industry, the type of organization, study them a little bit. And then the networking, I think, is just so key these days, of, you know, going on LinkedIn and finding these companies, seeing what jobs they have, seeing who you know there, you know, connecting with all the people you can through all the means, like everybody that's in this group here. If you all shared your LinkedIn, you never know, maybe somebody 2 degrees from you knows somebody at a company that's hiring, and they can introduce you to the hiring manager or to HR. I mean, you guys are all welcome to connect with me on LinkedIn. I'll drop my LinkedIn here, and I have almost 2,000 connections all over the United States. And that's one of the keys right now in getting work. There are more people looking for work than there are jobs, but that doesn't mean that it's impossible.
Yeah.
It does. You've got to be discerning.
Yeah.
Right, Milry?
Also, yeah, I was just going to add, Alicia, just a couple things, and then I see that Howard has put something in the chat, so I'd like him to come off of mute and make ask his question.
Yeah.
But Alicia, what we hear a lot and probably don't pay as much attention to as we should is the notion that one closing door opens another. And I think if we spend time looking for what is that door that's opening now because of this situation, it does a lot of different things. First of all, it sort of compartmentalizes the thing that's happening that's negative, but it also helps you look forward into something that's much more positive and start planning around that thing, which builds a certain kind of excitement and you know, sense of adventure when you can just sort of start thinking about what that kind of thing is. So that's the first point. And the second point is, I just want to use this opportunity because to do a little a reminder that 40 Plus of Greater Washington offers a skills transition training course that's really very, very affordable, and it will help you position yourself. If you choose to take it, it will help you position yourself for that time in June to just be ready to just bounce right back out there and do the thing that you want, or even before June. So if you want to pay attention to what's happening on the website, I know that we're going to be offering it again in spring. So enough of the commercial. I just want to put that out there since that happened to be the topic.